And I too, like, since the red is darker, like the dark is still the same darkness, but I feel like it's a lot more, and the red doesn't pop as much against the dark since it's shorter. So I think if the red went longer, it would make the contrast more contrast, I guess, obviously. I've had skin removal. So I've had 2 kids. I've lost over 100 pounds. I've constantly worked on like body recomposition. Like every time I've got down to 180, it looks different. But something about like, you get a tummy tuck, right? Everything is flat. Everything is like, right? I mean, obviously, like you can't get rid of like all your loose skin. Like when I bend over, like this way, you know what I'm saying? You still have loose skin. And like I didn't want to do the floor to least tummy tuck. But anyways, your front is tight, but you don't realize like you still have a lot of loose skin going on back here, and same thing with your arms. So like even when I could flex like this, right? And you could see like, well, that's not flex. I'm just saying like you could flex, and I might be able to see a bicep when I was leaner. But as soon as you go down, like you couldn't ever see any tricep. And then I had a lot of extra skin that I like would push forward like this direction. And so your arms looked really big. And so I had talked about it back and forth. Like my husband was like, I don't feel like I need skin removal here. But it's like if everything's snatched here, and then you have these rolls right here that aren't necessarily fat, it's skin. So in August of 24, I had an upper back lift and I had brachioplasty. So it's like now you can see like when you flex, like you can actually see your progress. Now granted I haven't been in the gym in like 10 weeks, so but now everything should be tight. So I had like these little scars, like these are fresh because they were revised, because after I had the surgery, the swelling was so bad, and like you can't really bend your arms, right? Because like I couldn't even lift my arms up, much less do this or this. Like this is still even tight on my skin, not my muscle, to do this. So I was low-key like, I regret this, I can't even move, but it takes time to come back to mobility. But in just like slight bending with your arm being so swollen, this busted open. And so this scar was really fucking wide. Same thing with back here. Same thing here, because you're at such a critical movement point, it's always moving. These scars have busted open. And same thing my back. That one had gotten real wide because it came open and it healed from the inside out instead of being closed and healing this way, right? So about 10 weeks ago, I had my scars revised where, like, I mean, in office, you're awake, they just give you a shot, kind of cut where your scar was and just re-sew it up. But like, so this scar was at least like 3 inches wide. Like it was pretty gnarly. But yeah, so these are still somewhat fresh right there. But that's what I tell people sometimes. I told a taco truck downtown San Antonio that they had the worst barbacoa, and they pulled out their switchblade and just took me out. But no, it's just arm lift. So it just varies. So my implants, lift, and tummy tuck in 2020 was the scar revision was just 1,000. And that's literally because he had to give me injections and like, you know, all the supplies they use, and obviously his time. I'm 5'6". LinkedIn bio. So yeah, so the scars are real red right now. Because if not, like, so he didn't revise this. And so this, and has a tan on it, so it's a little bit darker. But this part right here is almost barely noticeable, whereas this is fresh. Like you can still see that it's healing. There's a lot of like activity going on with it. So versus still angry, tight, all that stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's just part of it. And so everyone's like, oh, I don't want the scars. But at the end of the day, like, you're gonna have loose skin and be unhappy, or you're gonna like the way you feel and the way clothes fit on you and have some scars. Scars are scars. Like, they all tell a story. You know what I'm saying? This is part of like my journey. Like, yeah, I gained weight, I lost weight, I worked really hard, and skin removal, you can't have skin removal unless you have excess skin. Like, the fat has to be gone. You know what I'm saying? And like for the girls who get the tummy tucks just to get the BBL, that's because they suck so much fat out of their stomach to shove it into their ass that they have to like cinch it up after that. But they're still big. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. I'm not judging them. I'm just saying those girls who get tummy tucks, like everyone just thinks now that tummy tuck, like, oh, well, you didn't work for that. I'm like, I looked the same before a tummy tuck. Just these were just filled back up. You know? But let's see. I'll show you. Is at one point, so this is like my leanest, and that's 174 or 78 pounds. So 178 right there. And that's before the tummy tuck. But if I still bent over, all that skin, so like it looked like it was held together good, but it was like, it's kind of like the same thing in here. You look like you have abs right there, but it's really just like skin pockets, you know? But that's not what I was going to show you. So hang on. But this is literally, this is before surgery, this is after the surgery. So you can see they were there, they're deflated, and then you can see like this is the extra skin line, obviously because it was more like vertical like this, but there's a lot of excess skin here. And I really wasn't going to do another tummy tuck. Like, I didn't want to do that. I was just going to do a lift and implant. So my doctor was like, you might as well here. Like, let's just do a mini one. So I just thought he was going to do like a little mini tuck. But he actually ended up pulling my skin too tight. And that's why, like, my belly button is more stretched because it's not as loose. So, like, when I sit here, like if you make your belly button, like, that's a normal belly button. That's relaxed skin, right? But when you're sitting here up straight and you're sitting, like, upright, like, it's not relaxed. You know what I'm saying? It's, but like, if you come here, like, oh, there it is. But anyways, it is what it is. So that's when everyone's like, you didn't work for that. Well, shit, I sure did, because that's before surgery. Anywho. Only difference is, yeah, it really filled up afterwards, because like that's before and that's after. But yeah. Now that we went down the whole route of all the things, you're probably like, we really don't care. So like scars won't disappear 100%, right? It takes truly for, hey, Kristen, for scars to truly like actually be in a healing phase. Like anytime you do surgery, especially plastic surgery, your results are going to come for a year after, right? So there's that part. But, so like I said, these are like in the middle section, these are 2 years old, right? And then these, like I said, are only about 10, 11 weeks old right now. So it really just depends on your genetics, your skin tone, skin type. Are you staying out of the sun? Because like I put sunscreen on these, or I wear the long sleeves a lot because I don't want the sun to hit them, because I'm trying to get them to heal. No, I didn't get arm lipo, just a brachioplasty, just a skin removal. So I try not to say, don't put them in the sun, because that actually only makes your scars redder. And then, like I said, I'm actually going through a treatment right now with this one girl. It's like an enzyme treatment. I found her through scar tattooing because she can do camouflaging to make the scars look like it's your skin tone. But she says, I want to address the issue. Like, scar is still skin, it's tissue. Like, we can still like change it. And I will say she has changed it a lot. Even in my face.